Oh man, you can't make this up, right? I'm telling y'all. When old, I mean, we're gonna say back in the days, we talking almost 40 years ago. But this person has actually stood around. He's part of hip hop. Um, his mentor, we could say it that way, his boss, the one that taught him the game in them Queens, Southside Queens streets, allegedly, but everybody know the truth. He's locked up right now, serving life basically. That's Supreme Mcgriff. It came out now that Supreme McGriff got a documentary out, and I advise y'all to go check it out on his nephew, Prince. If y'all know about the Prince, y'all mean y'all know about the Supreme team. Shout out to the Queen, shout out to Southside. Everybody know I'm talking about. If you follow the Supreme team, you follow 50 Cent. 50 Cent always mention him. He's the one that had that all out beef with them back in the days when he got hit 9 times. That's another topic. But something actually happened yesterday when the documentary actually dropped. I advise y'all to go check it out. It's on Gerald Prince Miller Instagram. That's his own nephew. That's Prince. Gerald Prince Miller. That's his Instagram. He got a link there. It's a new documentary on the Supreme team. It's basically based on Supreme McGriff, the head honcho. He speaks out this time. And he had a few words he actually spoke out to that yesterday. He's saying that Bimmy, the guy that been running around that y'all see in the thumbnail, that's part of the Supreme, that was a youngin, that Supreme, that McGriff, Big Prane put him under the wing. He's basically accusing him, allegedly, he's saying this on his documentary, that Bimmy been an informant for 40 years. He been an informant since 1985, according to Supreme. Everybody's shocked. Everybody, but see, this a bad story about this. Shout out to Zip with the drip. Go make sure y'all subscribe to Zip with the drip. He been screaming out that Benny been an informant, a snitch like 2 or 3 years ago, obviously. And then there's somebody else that been saying the same thing. Shout out to Brian Blaze or Brian Glaze. Brian Blaze. I'm gonna play his video. Y'all gonna see who I'm talking about. He's an OG that come out of Brooklyn. Salute to him. He also been speaking about Bimmy also for a couple years back. But when you hear the word that's coming out your mentor, your boss, Supreme, and he's saying that you've been an informant since back in the day, since '85, a lot of people not believing it. A lot of people don't want to believe it, but it's rocking the internet right now. We got to talk about this. We're gonna go over the clip. We're gonna go over the clip that actually Supreme is mentioning that part in his documentary. So I advise y'all go check that documentary out. Let's get this show started, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, because this is nasty work for Bimmy in New York right now, boy. I'm telling everybody in New York, like, whoa. Let's get this show started. Yo, 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 yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. We back in the building. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Ain't gonna hurt your feeling, ain't gonna cost you. Share the video, keep that notification bell on so you know when these videos are actually dropping. Shout out to everybody that got their membership. Know what I mean? Try to get yours. Team Smoke Game. Shout out to everybody that been supporting the channel. Let's get this copyright out the way. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here, absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel, on this channel. Everything that I speak on over here is absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. The clips and the videos I play are also owned by the original creators. Man, let's get this show started. So I'm gonna show y'all a picture of this guy. Now that's Benny. That's Benny right there, back in the '80s, right there in the back. That's Supreme right there. This is the young era. They saying that Bimmy basically ratted also on a part shooting that happened years ago with Big Noise Troy, his father, whatever. We're gonna get to that. Big Noise Troy, rest in peace. He come out of Queens also. Anybody know who that is? I know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, his son speaks about an incident that happened back in the days, and they saying this guy been an informant, been a snitch since the time he jumped off that porch and he started catching his cases. And this is nasty work, because when you're a young nigga and your mentor is calling you out like that, you can't do nothing about that. Now, Bimmy actually responded. Bimmy responded on his page. He's saying that please go out and support this doc. I am so happy I can help and get your money, my nigga. free the real 100. He said, oh, and one more thing, show the work. What he mean by saying that he showed the work, he mean about show the paperwork that the alleged allegations that's going on right now that Supreme came out on this documentary. The documentary is right here, Supreme the Truth. Make sure y'all go to Gerald Prince Miller. That's his page. You got a link there. Y'all can check the documentary out. It's $9.99. It's definitely it's worth the watch. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. So go check that documentary out. But Bimmy, you got a lot to explain to do, champ. You really do, because this is nasty work when you got the CEO running the show over here from the prison and putting these allegations against you out there saying that you a whole snitch. Let's get to the part that Supreme is actually bringing Bimmy name up in this documentary. I want y'all to hear it closely. Peep this out. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Share this video.
Yeah. Sergeant Forster and my both lied under oath just to try to arrest me. James Bimmy Anthony has been a CI.
He goes away on conspiracy charges.
He had been arrested and prosecuted based on a search of a premises that he was in.
These were dirty cops who were working with a dirty, lying CI. Sergeant Forster and Myron Cherry both lied under oath just to try to arrest me. James Bimmy Anthony has been a CI for over 40 years. Bimmy is the CI they described in this search warrant affidavit and lies that two people were kidnapped and beaten in near death. It was a lie. When they did the search, no evidence of a kidnapping existed. This is what informants do. They lie. And the police and prosecutors don't care. They just want to win no matter what.
Ultimately, they threw out the search, but now the federal government was paying.
Now, y'all heard that coming out. Now, the documentary is right there on that page. That's Gerald Prince Miller. Shout out to Prince. Shout out to Supreme. Shout out for them to dropping this documentary, because this is nasty work. But a lot of people are actually questioning this. A lot of people are saying, yo, why he doing this now? 40 plus something years, how he find out now? Y'all got to understand, sometimes you don't put things together till later on in life. Sometimes you don't want to believe that it was your little man that was the informant the whole goddamn time. You don't want to believe that sometimes. And then you run it 100 miles per hour. Sometimes you don't get a chance to even sit back and think about it. Sometimes you don't want to believe that's the person that was the CI the whole time. You assuming as other niggas in part of the Supreme team, part of your clique, that's the CI because the way they've been moving. Y'all got to understand, sometimes that money moves so fast that you don't even got a chance to think. And sometimes you don't even want to believe somebody that you actually love. You looked at him like a little brother. You put him to the game. You don't want to believe he was a CI. But now, 40 plus years later, whatever, this nigga Supreme put everything together, I guess. And Supreme probably sat back and said, nigga, I got nothing but time in here. Let me go through all these documentaries. I mean, these affidavits and discoveries, whatever paperwork he got. That nigga put it together, and he had to realize, like, bro, the whole time it was this little nigga, allegedly, meaning Bimmy. Allegedly. But it's coming out the head honcho mouth. Pause. It's coming out the boss mouth. It's coming out the Supreme Mcgriff. Why would he want to lie now? He ain't getting no points off this. Everybody's gonna watch the documentary because it's Supreme team. They want to hear what Mcgriff got to say. They want to hear what the boss got to say. So everybody is obviously watching this right now as we speak. The documentary. I don't think he lying. I think he's telling the truth. I think Bimmy probably was an informant since back in the days, and people do get paid. Let's continue though, man. Let's go back one more time though, so y'all can hear clearly what Supreme, the head honcho, Mcgriff, is saying about Bimmy, Atten, whatever his last name is. He been a CI for him day and there since back in the day, since 85, 86. Peep this out again, man. This is nasty work, yeah.
The charges.
He had been arrested and prosecuted based on a search of a premises that he was in.
These were dirty cops who were working with a dirty, lying CI. Sergeant Forster and Myron Cherry both lied under oath just to try to arrest me. James Bimmy Anthony has been a CI for over 40 years. Bimmy is the CI they described in this search warrant affidavit and lies that 2 people were kidnapped and beaten in near death. It was a lie. When they did the search, no evidence of a kidnapping existed. This is what informants do. They lie. And the police and prosecutors don't care. They just want to win no matter what.
Ultimately, they threw out the search, but now the federal government was paying.
Shout out to Zip with the drip, man, because he posted his first all on the internet because Zip, shout out to you, Zip. Zip been the first one that been going after Bimmy for the last couple of years, saying that, nigga, you a holder foreman, you a snitching, you know what you did years ago to Supreme and them. And Bimmy, and Zip only speaking about one incident, actually, the incident that happened in the park with Big Nose Troy, made him rest in peace, whatever, and it's saying that he actually ratted on Big Nose Troy over a shooting that happened out there in Baisley Park, out there in Southside Queens, where 50 Cent is from. If it ain't Baisley Park, somewhere down there in Southside. They've been saying this boy been a snitch for the longest, man, but we're going to continue with these clips because this is nasty work. Nasty work. You've been running around here, and if y'all don't know who that is, that's Waka Flocka uncle. For the people down south that don't know who Benny is, y'all know who Waka is, right? That's his uncle. His mother, that's her little brother. I mean, yeah, they're originally from Queens. Waka Flocka, his mother, they're originally from Queens. That whole family is. They just moved down to Atlanta. And that's where Waka grew up from. But his birth, where he's from Queens. He was born and raised up that mother. But let's get to it though, man, because we ain't done. Let's get the Zip with the drip. Shout out to you, Zip. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my boy Zip, man. He bugged out. He don't hold nothing back. Shout out to you, Zip. Let's get the Zip with the drip talking about this actually. I think he spoke about this last night right here. Peep this out.
On October 15th, 2025, I spent my money on that. And look what I found, y'all.
And, he goes away on conspiracy charges.
He had been arrested and prosecuted based on a search of a premises that he was in.
These were dirty cops who were working with a dirty, lying CI. Sergeant Foster and Myron Cherry both lied under oath just to try to arrest me. James Bimmy Anthony has been a CI for over 40 years. Bimmy is the CI they described in this search warrant affidavit and lies that 2 people were kidnapped and beaten in near death. It was a lie. When they did the search, no evidence of a kidnapping existed. This is what informants do. They lie. And the police and prosecutors don't care. They just want to win no matter what.
Ultimately, they threw out the search, but now the federal...
I remember when I first got on the internet and I said, Bimmy been a snitch since 1995. I remember when one of them old niggas from the Supreme team called me on the phone like, I love what you doing out here, but you wrong, nigga. I said, I'm wrong? He said, yeah, you said he been a rat since 95. He ain't been no rat since 95. He been a rat since 85. And that's what Preem talking about. Gerald?
That's what Preem talking about. See, Zip was going after Bimmy on the internet for a while. And he was talking about he was talking 95. But niggas done hit him up in the back end. Niggas from, I guess, Supreme Team or associates that don't get along with Bimmy now as we speak, I guess, and they never did. They hit Zip up and told him straight up, nah, nigga, that nigga been a rat since 85. And that's what Supreme is talking about as we speak. That's the documentary. That's part of the documentary that he's actually speaking about. This nigga been an informant since 85. It's hard for people to believe it. But like I said, when you're moving so fast in the fast life, and you got to remember, they hide shit. They seal shit sometimes. Sometimes things get sealed for a lot of years until you put that shit together And you like, yo, this whole time, my little man, the one I put onto the game, this little nigga Bimmy, he was the CI the whole time. Because y'all got to remember, Preem caught his first case around 85, around there, 85, 86, around there. We're going to get to that story. So y'all might as well buckle up because we're going to get to that story next soon. He beat that on an appeal, came home on 2 years because I'm going to save that for y'all. Let's continue though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. This is nasty work on Bimmy. This ain't looking good for you because you've been running around in hip hop all these years. And we all thought you was a stand-up nigga coming out of Supreme Team. You was about the last Mohican nigga standing from there. Everybody else either dead or they did a stretch. Meaning they in there doing 20, 30, 40 something years of life. A lot of them niggas from Supreme Team. Bimmy was about the only last Mohican. And a lot of people questioned that. But let's continue though, man. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge throughout this whole shit though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Bimmy of the Supreme Team did what? Went away one time, did 3 years, had 3 to life for selling. Basically, like he had an A1 felony for selling to an undercover cop. Now all of a sudden, the statements, the words, everything coming out, paperwork, DD5. You know why you have to make an affidavit for Troy? Whereas for so long, they had you as music. And just so happened they didn't black out everything. And being that they didn't black out everything, your name came up. They left.
Now, if y'all don't understand what he's talking about an incident that happened with Big Noise Troy. The situation that happened in the park and they grabbed Bimmy up. Bimmy allegedly gave a statement, and that's about the second snitch allegation. They saying this nigga done snitch on every time he got caught up in some type of situation or he knew something. That's what Brian Glaze talking about. And we're going to get to him later on when he spoke about this last night also when Supreme came out and dropped that bomb on him saying that this nigga been an informant throughout all them years. Peep this out though. Let's go back because he talking about Big Noise Troy situation that happened down there in the park in Queens. And Bimmy spoke about that, saying that, man, I never get a statement out. I don't know what niggas talking about, this and that and the third. But see, they mixed the name up. He went by the name Music. So when y'all hear that name Music, that's Bimmy on the paperwork that Zip the Drip and others like Brian Glaze spoke about throughout the years. Let me repeat myself for y'all. When y'all hear that name Music, it's on the paperwork that Zip the Drip and Brian. Zip the Drip was one of the first ones, and he's saying that whole time the nigga named Music, that was Bimmy. See, they like to put an alias behind your name in paperwork so you could try to figure out who the hell is that individual with that nickname Music. Music the whole time was Bimmy. Because people put it together. Zip the Drip put it together. Nigga, you got involved. You went on a Run DMC tour in 85, 86 around that time. When Preem got locked up and all that shit. Niggas spoke about this a couple years ago. Zip spoke about this. Brian Glaze spoke about this. A couple people spoke about this. But they never could figure out who the hell the name was Music was in that paperwork with the Big Noise Troy situation that happened in the park. The whole time it was Bimmy. Let's go back. Smash that like button so y'all can understand what's going on here with an old-time legend that everybody thought he was 10 toes down. Comes to find out he wasn't.
Like I said, right now, been exposed for being a CI. Bimmy of the Supreme Team did what? Went away one time, did 3 years, had 3 to life for selling. Basically, like he had an A1 felony for selling to an undercover cop. Now all of a sudden, the statements, the words, everything coming out, paperwork, DD5. You know why you have to make an affidavit for Troy? Whereas for so long, they had you as music. And just so happened they didn't black out everything. And being that they didn't black out everything, your name came up. They left music, James Etney. They left that unblocked. Why? Saying that you witnessed Troy in the park, in Basley Park, and you witnessed him killing whoever he killed there. So once Troy and them got the information, they shot up your mother's house. You out there in the street and you got protection. You got that protection blanket.
He said he got that protection blanket from the feds, the police at the time when Big Nose Troy was letting them shots off in Baisley Park over some ops he had a little beef with. He witnessed it. They saying that music, Bimmy was the one that get a statement, get everything. But see, it comes to find out when they grabbed him up at that park when he allegedly seen the whole shit, when they got him on paperwork saying music seen it. This nigga was an informant 10 years before that. See, we talking 95. We talking 94, 95, around that time. That's when everybody thought he was an informant when he ratted on Big Nose Troy. Or he became a snitch, whatever you want to call it. But see, comes to find out when Supreme came out yesterday with that little statement on the documentary, 95 go back to 85. Nigga, that nigga been an informant since 85, according to Supreme. He's coming out saying, yo, show paperwork. See, 85 paperwork, you really ain't gonna catch that. Paperwork was kind of different going into the 90s. Technology was kind of different going into the 90s. So if you try to go get some paperwork from 85, nigga, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a little hard, you know what I mean, trying to put that in there because at that time in the 80s, everything was corrupted. I sit back and wait. Police was corrupted, allegedly. DAs was corrupted, allegedly. Everybody was corrupted in the 80s. It was too much money going on in the 80s, everywhere. Not just New York, everywhere. We speak in the crack era where police, niggas on the corner, youngins, everybody was getting rich. So it was easy to say, yo, don't put me in the paperwork. Okay, we ain't gonna put you in the paperwork in the 80s. I sit back, any OGs in the 80s, because I'm an 80s baby. I was born in the 80s. Any OGs in the 80s, they'll be like, nah, Smoke, you right. It was a different era, man. It was a different era in the 80s. So if you did snitch, it was hard to believe, hard to find out, to be honest. Let's continue, though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. But we ain't done with Bimmy, man. This is nasty work on Bimmy.
Is a good kid, a good man. But once again, like I say, you don't survive the street as long as you survive unscratched unless you got what? Some type of form of protection. Everybody right now in that whole crew is either dead, you know what I'm saying, or did 1,000,001 years. But like I say with him, you sold, you know what I'm saying, I think a Kia 2, a Coke to an undercover cop in New York City, an A1 felony, and you end up with 3 to life. So when you sit back and sometimes you listen to some of the things that Bimmy talked about or some of the things that he said, he did a story, and right now is my man has sent it to me, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it. It's like right now was years ago, like when the Supreme team, because normally Prince and Preem ain't out at the same time. So during this particular incident, Prince and Preem both was out. And I guess they was at Baisley Park. And a cop came by. And a cop, you know what I'm saying, right now, approach him in front of the Supreme team and say, you know what, when you gonna start paying us? So to me, they didn't go to Prince or Preem, the leaders, number 1 and 2, talk about you need to pay us. If you met Bimmy.
Shout out to Brian Glaze, man. Now, he got his own story, what he did. Go check his story out. He's definitely got a dope, interesting documentary. It's a lot on YouTube. Go check it out, Brian Glaze. We ain't here to speak on him, but at least he's speaking on the fact that he admit what he did. But he do got a point. He said, my man sent me a story that he did when the police came to him. You got number 1 boss, number 2 boss standing. You're just a little fish, meaning Bimmy. Police approached you and said, man, you got to start paying us. Y'all got to understand, we talking 80s. This has got to be in the mid 80s or the late. This is 80s or early 90s, around that time, whatever time. It's a different era. Police was telling the Bimmy at that time, I'm thinking like Brian Glaze, nigga, you better start paying us before we start saying that you a whole informant out here in these Queens streets, South Side. I sit back and wait. Brian Glaze ain't lying. Why would they approach the fish when you got number 1 and number 2 boss standing right next to him? I sit back and wait. Why the hell the cops gonna go to a little hustler when you got the top-notch ball standing right next to him, and then you got the number 2 ball standing right next to him too, meaning Prince and Supreme and Prince. I sit back and wait. Why would they go to the little fish, meaning Bimmy? talking about, yo, you better start paying us. You know why? Because, like I said, it was a different era. Corrupted. They ain't had to put your name in that paperwork. They kept it quiet along you paying them and you doing your goddamn job by giving them information. That part. And I sit back and wait on that. And any OG gonna exactly say, nah, you're not lying about that. Come on, man. Let's cut the shenanigans out, man. Let's cut the shenanigans out here, man. Bimmy, man, they ain't looking too good, champ. Ain't looking too good. Let's continue, though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this goddamn video.
Smacking him up, patting him down. And that's why my father chose to just straight wreak havoc on absolutely new.
Now, this is Big Noise Troy's son speaking about the incident that happened in the park in Baisley Projects when his father was dumping, and his father found out that Bimmy snitched on him. So he started raising havoc on the Supreme Team and all them niggas. And he cut this because this was simple fact that Big Noise Troy felt like Supreme and them knew that Benny was a whole snitch, and he snitched on that situation on Big Noise Troy dumping out in the park. So he looked at Supreme like, oh, y'all gonna support that snitch? All right, I'm gonna start a little havoc out here. That's what he started doing. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and that's his son speaking about that incident back in the days.
Bimmy was from doing that 5 years. He absolutely knew that Bimmy was cooperating, so he was smacking him up, patting him down. And that's why my father chose to just straight wreak havoc on everybody, every Supreme Team nigga, whoever jacked Supreme Team and all that. My father was wreaking havoc when he came home. He was wreaking havoc because niggas is jacking a rat.
Now, Troy, in Bimmy's defense,
Niggas was jacking that rap. Allegedly was jacking the rap. That's Little Troy speaking about this. Let's continue. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We ain't done. Now, this is Bimmy speaking about, y'all, there ain't no paperwork on me. Peep what Bimmy said on a little two clips on a little interview he did not so long ago, well, a while back. Peep this out.
Indictment. First of all, you idiots. It was 5 crews. My crew, Just Crew, Prince Crew, Big Wise Crew, and Preem's ahead. I don't know what Prince Crew did. They don't know what my crew did. But when we had to come together, all right, give me 5 of your guys, give me five. You know what I'm saying? That went down. Out of all of us, we had different crews. So they don't know. I don't know what Prince and them was doing.
Right.
They don't know what I was doing.
Right.
Why the fuck would I be in his indictment? Like,
That's a lie. How you gonna sit there and really say that you don't know what Prince and no, nigga, you had your own little crew. The one that set up the own little crew for you to have your little crew, the one that gave you your little crew and gave you that work was your boss, was your mentor, and that's Supreme, champ. What are we talking about here, Bimmy? You absolutely knew exactly what was going on in that organization back then because you was part of that. You was their little man. They had a lot of trust towards you, nigga. You lying, bro. I don't care what nobody said. You're lying, man. And I believe Supreme, bro. I believe him. Let's continue, though.
you niggas ain't come with one name or my name on something, but an affidavit.
Who started that? Where does that come from? Your name is on paperwork and the name music.
Yeah.
Who started that?
I'm gonna tell you the real shit. What happened with that was something went on somewhere else. Had nothing to do with me. I don't like because families and
Yeah.
you know, but I'm gonna talk about
yeah,
it. I'm talking about because I'm gonna clear it on this show. Whoever got killed, he was fucking my baby mother. So I don't care what happens. God bless him.
Yeah, right,
But I don't care. So what the fuck I'm being on some case? You know what I mean? I didn't care. So old boy who they said did it, he called me 15, 20 years ago and asked me to go talk to a girl named Mina from Brooklyn. So we knows her, right? I don't know her. So he asked me, yo, bro, can you talk to her for me? I said, bro, I'm on the phone with this dude. I said, I don't know her. And that was that. Because my nephew, KK, was in jail with the dude.
Okay.
And he pulled me, yo, show me, you got work with my uncle. Show me.
Now, y'all heard that name Music. Everybody seen the paperwork and everybody seen the name Music. Everybody was confused, like who the hell was Music? It was Bimmy. That's why Bimmy be so confident. It's like, nigga, that's not my name, nigga. That's not me. That's not Music. Music ain't me. Bimmy been screaming this shit out for the longest over that Troy, over Big Noise Troy situation that happened at Baisley Park. That's the situation he's talking about. Nah, nigga. Nah. You was music. Everybody proved it. Everybody, even Big Noise Troy, even said that was you. But you still run around because a lot of people passed away. A lot of people got locked up. So he was able to run around here and act like, no, that's not me. My name ain't on it. They got a whole nigga named Music. Who the hell is Music? Like I said, it was a different era. They would make up an alias and put an alias name in there to have everybody confused, to have you debating like, yo, that's who the hell is Music? You won't even know or think who the hell is that person. You don't even got a clue. Now you understand? But the whole time it was Bimmy. It was Bimmy. Let's continue though. Now we're going to get to Brian Glaze. Pardon me. We're going to get to this dude, the one y'all seen. He spoke about the situation because he watched the documentary. And this is his opinion about 1985. Not 95. We're talking 85. When Supreme saying that he's the reason why I got locked up at that time. He became a CI ever since. This is coming out of Supreme mouth in the documentary. Go check that out. Now, listen what Brian Glaze had to say. Peep this out.
Near death that was in the house that he was in. That's what he did. He lied. But once again, because these detectives, these cops, they wanted arrest. They wanted Preem. The same way they wanted Fat Cat. So they won these guys because they knew at the time, Fat Cat, Supreme, the Corleys, they ran South Jamaica, Queens. Their name was ringing bells, and they wanted them. So once again, Bimmy obviously got knocked for doing a hand-to-hand sell to an undercover cop. And they basically told him, look, you want this to go away? You are a peon. You are a little, you know, back then, you know how they call YN? So you are a little nigga. We don't want you. We want the big fish. You are a little fish. So right now is, if you don't want to do no time, you need to set Supreme up. So what he do is, he know where the spot's at. He know where the money's at. He know where the drugs at. He know where the gun's at because he's part of the Supreme team. They trust him. He's in and out. So once again, when Sergeant Forster snatched him up, look, we need something. What he did, he told him, listen, man, they got the money. They got the drugs. They got the guns. He gave them 2 different locations. But what they went to the judge with, hey, they got 2 guys that was snatched off the street that must be stole money or mess up money or betray the Supreme team. So here it is, we got them in this house. They is beaten near death. So once again, we need to act fast. So they got the warrant on false pretense. Only thing they wanted at the time was the money, the drugs. So once again, he lied. So if that warrant would have said they knew these guys was in there bagging up, cutting up heroin, coke, you know, counting money, had a bunch of guns. If that warrant would have stated that, then guess what? Preem would have never have won his appeal. But the warrant didn't state nothing about guns, drugs, or money.
Bingo. And he right about that. Because in that little situation that happened that Supreme's talking about back in 1985, when he caught his first charge, whatever, allegedly, they saying basically that Bimmy told the police because he must have got knocked off allegedly, whatever, and he didn't want to go to jail. He was scared, whatever, I guess, whatever. He didn't want to stand on his accountability, so he became a CI. He told the police allegedly saying that, yo, just what's the name? I mean, Prince of them niggas. I mean Supreme. I mean them niggas got some 2 niggas in there. They torturing them. They beating them. Basically torturing them. Like they're about to kill these 2 people allegedly. But when the police get there, there's nobody there. There's only guns, drugs, and everything else. That's why Supreme was able to come home in 2 years off of a pill. Because the warrant, they have that it was guns, drugs, and everything else, money. The warrant was for two individuals in the house was getting tortured allegedly by Supreme Team. Who's the only person that knew them trap houses? According to everybody, according to Supreme that came out with his new documentary and he put Bimmy on the spot, it was Bimmy. Let's continue though, because Brian Glaze ain't done. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
It was two individuals that was snatched off the street, that was beaten half to death. So that's how he beat it. Because why would you cop out to 9 to life? You know what? I guarantee you he had Cohen, David Cohen. And David Cohen told him, don't worry about it. We're going to beat this on the pill. Preem cop out to 9 to life. And guess what? Within 2 years, he's back out on the street. That's when the feds snatch him up. But you know the funny part? It was always speculation. It was always speculation. But you know what? Sometime when shit happen and you moving at 1,000,001 mile per hour, you don't think correctly. You do not think correctly. So being that you don't think correctly, what happened? You know what happened? You let shit, everything could be there. Preem could have been thinking like, damn, man, how in the hell they ran up on us like this? How they knew exactly where the stash house was? Only a few people know. Trusted members. How in the hell the Popo came in here and caught us off guard like that? Wow. But he is always in the back of his mind. Somebody betrayed him, but who? But who? But when you start sitting back thinking about it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do another video and I'm gonna put the documents up, because I did it before. Whereas when all that stuff was going on, what was said, what the CI say, and why he said it. And what the CI say is, look, let me go to the house. I want to make sure that I'm there, so it don't look suspicious. I want to get arrested with these guys. Professor, what's up, Professor? Shout out to the professor, man. My man, what's up, Professor? So what he did was, Bim went back there with them. So why Bimmy in the house? You know what Bimmy doing? He turning up the music. Something that he loved. I love music. Boom, boom, boom. Anytime.
Bingo. For people that still watching, we talking 80s on this situation. Bimmy went to the house first, allegedly. Before the narcos, the feds, before the cops and the police, whatever, the state police was coming for the raid, Bimmy told them allegedly, let me go to the house so I can be arrested with them. When he got there, he put the music up and the TV up, all types of weird shit. So they want to hear the police coming in. And then when you think about it, Bimmy always loved music. You fast forward 10 years later with the Big Noise Troy with the shooting situation, and that paperwork, the informant name was music. That's how everybody put everything together. Not because the day he played the music, no. Because this nigga's part of hip hop. He was running with Run DMC. It's too many clues around the time when Supreme got locked up for that situation back in 1985, 86, 85, whatever year it was. He put that shit together. And he comes to find out it was Bimmy that was the informant at that time. Peep this out. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
So he turning up something that he loved. So why Bimmy in the house? You know what Bimmy doing? He turning up the music. Something that he loved. I love music. Boom, boom, boom. Any type. So he turning up the music as loud as he can. Then he turned up the TV. The guys, his co-defendant at the time, was scratching their head. What's up with this young nigga? Why he turning up both the music and the TV? Who turn up loud the radio and the TV at the same time? Wow.
Even his co-defenders were saying, that. You see, when you sit back and you analyze the discovery, people started analyzing everything, going back, thinking about it. Bimmy did a lot of funny shit at the moments, but niggas wasn't thinking about it because you gotta remember, this is the 80s. Money is rolling. Niggas is living 100 miles per hour. They don't got time to be thinking about who's the CI at that moment. Sometimes it takes 15, 20 years to realize shit, man. To go back on your first cases to be like, damn, the first big charge that I caught, it was because of this nigga allegedly. We ain't done. Let's get to the last clip. Now, y'all remember when Prince, he's the one that dropped the documentary. He got the documentary on Gerald Prince Miller. That's his Instagram. He got a link there. Y'all can watch the documentary. He got knocked off when he was sleeping. And Bimmy called up there, told his wife, nah, don't wake him up. Peep this out. Brian Glaze is trying to refresh people's minds. Peep this out, man.
Call the house and ask if Prince was home. His wife say he was asleep. Should I wake him? Why would somebody take a plea, a 9 to life? He took that plea in 85. And guess what? 2 years later, he was released on appeal. Because based upon what Bimmy gave them the information and they took it to the judge, right now wait a minute. They found money, they found drugs, they found guns, but they didn't find the 2 kidnapped victims that was beaten near death. That's how he beat it on appeal. So let's get back to it. What we got? Music called the house and asked if Prince was home. His wife say he was asleep. Should I wake him up? He say no, just leave the door open. Leave the door unlocked. Prince just hit home from that arrest. But everybody think people was big.
Prince just came home off that arrest that happened back then, that year. We talking long time ago, y'all. He was the last one that called the house and asked where Prince was at. Bimmy. Prince's girlfriend at that time, if he's still with her or whatever, at that time, she said, my Prince is asleep. Shall I wake him up? No, just keep the door unlocked though. Because Bimmy was telling her that I'm on my way. The cops came though instead.
Beating Bimmy up. They was lying on Bimmy. Oh no, that wasn't true. Whatever's in the dark, eventually come to light. Let's look at it. Let's do the history with Bimmy. Bimmy tell people all the time that only thing he did, like right now, was he do music now. But Bimmy came up playing ball. He'll tell you he was nice. At what high school? Andrew Jackson. He was nice. And right now, he got down with the Supreme team. Once he got down with the Supreme team, he said right now he's to watch Supreme. But so basically what he was saying is he used to be on Supreme dick.
And that's a fact. If anybody know his history, he spoke about how he was a little athlete, this and that. Supreme was his mentor, his big homie, his big bro. But he turned around. Everybody know that Dad, Waka Flocka mom, she was this street person. And out there in Queens and all that. Bimmy was a little good kid till Supreme put him under the wing and brought him to the streets. And that was the worst thing that he probably obviously did. Because now Supreme saying that he been reforming since 1985, 40 years. I'm going to let y'all be the judge. We on to the next video. Bimmy, it ain't looking too good, chat. Hopefully Bimmy will come out and speak. We'll see, but I'm out of here, man. If they know, they know. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. I'm going to let y'all put y'all smoke in the comment what y'all think about this whole Bimmy situation. Do y'all believe Supreme or y'all think Supreme just being delusional? I don't know. I'm out of here. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. Salute, gang. I'm out of here.